I and my Twitter trending tie, apparently, are now back on the platform. It's a great pleasure to be able to chair this session this afternoon with Stephanie, Valerie and Brian. And we've got around 10 minutes each, and we've decided in the last minute that should take us around to about past, and then we'll take some questions at the end of the session. So Stephanie, are you up first? Yep. Yeah.
They did say I could go over 1 or 2 minutes, so that's all right. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Ronan. Today I'm presenting on Rudai 23 and how we used an online collaborative approach to develop and implement a national 23 Things course. So what is Rudai 23? Well, it's a free online course delivered and designed by members of the Western Regional Member of the Library Association of Ireland, and it's actually also the first online course to be certified by the LAI, and it's also the first course in Ireland, a specific 23 Things course delivered at a national level. So Rudai 23 directly translates from the Irish as Things 23. We called it that because it was based on the original 23 Things course pioneered by an American librarian called Helene Blowers for the staff of the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library in 2006. Our course, Rudai 23, went live last July and it ran for 14 weeks, and then we offered an extension for like an extra 3 months. So a 23 Things program is a teaching method used to teach a large number of individuals who are situated in multiple locations to teach them core competencies in technology and Web 2.0 tools. It's based on self-directed learning. The onus is on the participant to take the learning from each blog post and utilize the learning in the workplace. So it's because you actually put everything you learn into use straight away that the course has proven such a successful teaching method. And in fact, it's been replicated over 700 times worldwide. So this is the structure of your basic 23 Things course. There are 23 modules and they're delivered at regular intervals. So we deliver them over a 14-week period and they're delivered via the internet. We used Google Blogger to post all our blog posts. From the participant point of view, they have to read each of these instructive blog posts, so all 23 posts, as they come online, they read them. They complete a learning task. Usually each post had 2 learning tasks that they could choose from, and they must write a reflective blog just to let us know how they got on and maybe how they implemented that learning in their workplace. So I'll cut to the chase and let you know how we did with Rudai 23. Well, we had 235 people register their interest in doing such a course. 185 of those actually established a blog, and 123 of those actually wrote something in the blog, which was helpful. And of those, 79 participants actually thought they were going to complete Rudai 23, and they applied for their LAI certificates. And finally, a whopping 68 people did get their LAI certificates, and yeah, I'm one of them, yay. So actually, the course had a far more wider reaching audience than we thought. We were the Western Regional Section of the Library Association of Ireland. We were kind of just designing it for specific participants in the West and, in Ireland if they were, wanted to take the course. But in fact, 58.6% of our participants came from Ireland and 37.8% came from the UK. And many of those in the UK were using this module to progress with their CILIP chartership. And we actually had participants from all of the countries represented by the red pin in the map behind us. So we did send certificates to Ecuador and to America and Australia. We did have a participant from Trinidad and Tobago, but they didn't complete the course. So today I'm not going to so much talk about the course as the collaboration behind the course. So our project leader was Niamh O'Donovan, and she's from Galway County Libraries. So 4 of our 11 voluntary members were from the Western Regional Section. And we recruited the additional members from a talk that Niamh gave on a 23 Things course that she completed. And she gave that talk at one of our seminars in 2014. And so participants in the audience said, yeah, they'd like to be involved in this 23 Things course that we were running. And then we actually recruited our additional members via Twitter. So it was, as a recruitment process, it was really simple but very effective. We had 11 members in the end. We could have had a larger team, but you kind of had to balance that against the trials of actually managing a team completely online. So I'll quickly flash you. This is us. Actually, one of our team members, Chris Mean, is sitting down in the audience there. I'll move on. That's enough. So, as I said, Rudai 23 was devised and delivered entirely online. And as we were all dispersed in different geographical locations throughout Ireland, we had to use means of communication that was accessible by everybody. So enter Google. These are all Google apps that we actually used to communicate with each other on the course. We never had the opportunity to meet in person. To this day, all of 11 of us have actually never stood in the same room together. So we needed to have a good online network to be able to talk to each other with. So before we could launch Rudai 23, a lot of work had to be done behind the scenes, as you would imagine. So recruiting the team, then setting up the Google Plus group, and between us agreeing on a name for the course, agreeing on a logo, coming up with promotional ideas and website content, and of course the course content itself. So as I said, the course design template was in place from Helene Blauer's course in 2006, and those 700 replications that have been done. But we did actually, we did write our own content ourselves and tailor it for our section, and also for the changing landscape of, the Web 2.0 landscape is changing every day. There's new tools and technologies coming online. And it was also agreed to have an already established presence on all of the social media networks that we were planning on using in the course itself. So this meant kind of developing the Rudai 23 brand. So we designed a suite of logos, profile pictures, banners, welcome messages, and information about the course that could fit across multiple platforms. And we used this Rudai 23 brand to set up our LinkedIn page, our Pinterest page, Facebook page, LinkedIn group, and Google Plus community. And of course, establishing the Rudai 23 website itself. So this is what the website looked like. You go to the website for all information about the 23 Things course, the ethos behind it, some frequently asked questions, and then every one of those modules, those 23 things that came online, went to the blog and you could access it from there, or you got them directly to your email if you signed up for that. So as I said, as we never met in person, we had to establish some policies and guidelines for the team. So we had a social media policy in place, and this detailed the purpose and function of each social media account that we were using, and it provided guidelines on communicating online, and also clarity on which tools were specific for the group coordination and which tools we would use to interact with all the participants. Similarly, there was a group admin guide for those monitoring our Facebook page and our LinkedIn group, just kind of a guideline on how to interact with members and how to welcome them and generate discussion going. And we also had guidelines for the moderators in dealing with how to moderate blogs. So anyone that you could choose to moderate the blogs, and those of us that did choose to moderate, we had about 20 blogs to moderate each, on top of all the other work we were doing. So we had guidelines on how to do that and how much time to spend on it and how to encourage and guide the participants through the process. And we also importantly had a content guide for modules themselves. And this is very important because we wanted to make sure that each team member was clear on what was expected in terms of structure, length, tone, difficulty level, and content, and just to ensure that each of the modules remain consistent throughout the course. So I'll give you an example of what I was talking about. If you were going to write one of the technical blog posts, our guidelines said that it should cover at least 2 tools. Post should be an introductory level, and there should be a link provided so that participants can access that tool itself. And we wanted them to give a brief example and a description of how to use the tool in a library context and how to sign up for it. And then there was also 2 tasks that the learners could choose between which one to complete. And we tried to make sure that they were all free web-based tools. So who wrote what and when it came to the modules? Well, at the start of the project, a proposed schedule of modules was circulated to the team. So each of the proposed 23 modules had a date assigned to it, and it was clear when the module was due for publication. So then each team member was invited to select a module, or more than one if they wanted to, and they were to research and develop content for that module. And there was no pressure on any team member to do this or to choose more than one, but a lot of us did. But researching, writing, editing, re-editing, and rewriting all of those modules took a lot of time, and we found that on average it took about 12 to 14 hours to write each one of these modules. So it took a lot of time, but it was worth it. And again, as I said, we also moderated the participants' blogs themselves, so we had to encourage them and guide them along that process. And we did this because we found in researching other successful 23 Things courses, the completion rate was a lot higher when the participants actually felt that they were being engaged with by the moderators. So one of the unique things about Rudai 23 was the fact that the team operated in an online environment. Now, communicating in online environments, such as the Google group we use for Rudai 23, lacks the many affordances that make conversation possible in a face-to-face interactions, such as social cues and the establishment of common ground. Without tone and body language to guide us as to how the writer is feeling, written communications can be read or misconstrued when they're in an email. And it also meant clarification could be very long-winded, as questions were posted and comments bounced back and over, and many heated discussions actually took place. And also communication time lapse also posed a bit of a problem. The fact that most of us were working on Rudai 23 in our free time meant that there were communication time lapses between when an email or discussion was posted and when people actually got round to responding to it. Sorry, that's my own timer telling me I've gone over, but I was allowed 2 extra minutes. So communication time lapses, as I said, pose problems, and in a virtual environment, non-responses are a significant challenge. Is it because the other team members haven't read the communication, or is it because they haven't had time to consider that? Or is it actually that they haven't read the communication because they are not responding because they disagree? Or are they attending their silence as a form of consent? So in the absence of response from the whole team all of the time, a core little group had to take ownership and make the decisions ourselves. So we would recommend, if you are collaborating in an online project, we'd kind of recommend that it's essential at the start of the project that the whole team actually get together in a face-to-face environment. And that can be a virtual environment such as Skype, but really to get the whole team on board. We found that some of our members had greater buy-in as the project progressed. They kind of got a greater understanding of what exactly we were doing. So if we'd had a big group meeting at the start, it would have helped. And actually, thing 4 was on Google and Google Hangouts. And once we kind of put that module online, we ourselves as a team started using Google Hangouts more and having more of these Skype-like conversations amongst the group. And it kind of made things more effective. So finally, to sum it up, we did say in the abstract that we'd present a set of heuristics on effective online collaboration. So here they are. If you are collaborating online in such a project, you should assign an overall project manager. You need someone to drive it, and maybe an assistant to drive that driving. The more people that are driving it, the better. Establish a virtual project management site, and if at all possible, write the policies, rules, and regulations at the start before you do anything. Set an achievable time frame so that every member of the team knows what's happening and when, and encourage team members to buy in. As I said, they may not always have it at the start, but as the project develops, they might buy in more. So more tasks can be developed, and have regular virtual face-to-face meetings, as many as possible. It really helps. And open communication is key in an environment like this. That's it. Thank you very much.